Kuzuzampo, welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sunambem. Our top stories this week. His Majesty offers prayers and butter lamps for late former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. At least a child or a young person faces various forms of violence every 42 hours. And the country's top 10 chess players to represent Bhutan for Chess Olympiad later this month. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen offered prayers and butter lamps at Tashichazong on Saturday for the late former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe.
Cabinet ministers, senior government officials, members of the diplomatic community and the Japanese community in Bhutan attended the ceremony. Former Prime Minister Abe died in hospital on 8th July after he was shot by a gunman during a campaign speech in Nara near Kyoto. He was 67 and Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister. Bhutan also observed a day of national mourning today in honor of the late former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. All national flags across the country and Bhutan's embassies, missions and consulates abroad were flown at half-mast. Bhutan and Japan enjoy close bonds of friendship, and Japan is an important development partner of Bhutan. Book Game for BBS News.
Under the Project Tide assistance, the Indian government committed 28 billion Newton for 82 projects in the 12th five-year plan. As per the Project Monitoring Committee meeting, only 16 projects amounting to 2.8 billion Newton have been completed so far. The meeting between Bhutan and the Indian government was held on Tuesday. The 66 remaining projects worth more than 25 billion Newton are ongoing. As per the GNHC, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected project implementation, especially the projects that depend on foreign labor and the import of materials. The Indian government is yet to release more than 5 billion Newton for the projects. The 2019 and 2020 cohort of the Australia Awards scholarships returnees are in the country when its largest workforce, the civil service, is undergoing a major transformation. However, they view these reforms as happening at the right time and are ready to embrace and complement the change.
The Australia Awards Country Office in Thimphu hosted a welcome home event yesterday for some 15 returnees of the Australia Awards scholarships for the intake years 2019 and 2020. Of them, 8 are civil servants and 7 others are corporate and private employees.
To welcome you all home and to congratulate you on successfully completing your degrees in Australia. And this year we're celebrating 20 years of diplomatic relations, but of course our relationship goes much more longer than that, from the 1960s.
The highlight of the event was the emphasis on the massive reshuffle of the civil service. The Royal Civil Service Commission said it is high time to restructure the civil service, otherwise it was on the cusp of becoming obsolete. The Labour Secretary is one of the alumni of the Australia Awards scholarships. She said the scholarship has been influential in helping her adapt to changes in the professional space. And for the returnees, the newfound skills such as multitasking, problem solving and leadership skills can help them contribute effectively to the restructured working environment.
Because I have learned about early childhood, I not only can contribute in the public schools, but I can also collaborate and contribute to the private sectors, especially in daycare centers. So I have already talked with some of the private daycare centers. So in that way, I think Australia Award will definitely complement the reforms that is going on.
A lot of civil service reforms is happening, as everyone is aware, and one of the major reform that is happening is restructuring of agencies and ministries and organizations. where we have a lot of impact that we can make. We have a lot of responsibility on us. So at my level, I will try my best to give it, for all kinds of initiative that's taking place. And with the knowledge and skills and whatever expertise I've gained back from my studies, I would like to directly use it for now.
A total of 21 Bhutanese professionals from the civil service, corporate bodies and tourism are currently undergoing various postgraduate and diploma courses in Australia. Including them, about 2,000 Bhutanese from diverse professional backgrounds underwent long-term and short-term courses under Australian government scholarships since 2002. Also, that was the year which marked the establishment of the formal diplomatic ties between Bhutan and Australia. Bimal Hardin, BBS News.
The newly restored Trans-Bhutan Trail has been named in Time's 50 Greatest Places Around the World for 2022. Time is an American news magazine and news website based in New York. The list was compiled by its international network of correspondents and contributors offering new and exciting experiences in the less explored spots around the world.
Trans-Bhutan Trail is an initiative to revive Bhutan's ancient east-west route. The restored historic 403-kilometer pilgrimage trail from Ha to Trashigang will be officially reopened for the first time in 6 decades in September this year. The trail will allow people to rediscover generations' worth of stories and history. According to a press release, with the vision of His Majesty the King, the restoration of the trail began in 2018. It was led by the Bhutan Canada Foundation with the support of the Tourism Council of Bhutan. It was restored to make it accessible for locals, pilgrims and travelers again. For hundreds of years, it was used by pilgrims, messengers, armies and traders. Until the 1960s, it was the only way to travel and communicate with others across the country. The trail is expected to contribute to the recovery of the tourism industry post-COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Sringdandu, BBS News.
Bhutan received more than 30,000 doses of Pfizer pediatric COVID-19 vaccine from the US through the COVAX and Bhutan Foundation. The consignment arrived on Sunday. It is part of President Biden's commitment to give COVID-19 vaccines to countries around the world. The US has pledged to give more than 1 billion doses of COVID vaccine to 115 countries through the COVAX. The vaccine will be used for children who will attain 5 years in the coming days. On an average, at least one child or a young person faced either sexual or physical or emotional violence every 42 hours from 2018 until now. This is as per the data from the National Commission for Women and Children and civil society organizations like the Renew and the Najan Lamtin. To address the barriers preventing children and youth from seeking protection services, a multi-sectoral campaign to end violence against children was unveiled in the capital on Thursday.
Led by the NCWC, 14 governmental and non-governmental agencies will soon kickstart the campaign in Thimphu, Trashigang, Samtsi on a pilot basis. These 3 districts have been chosen taking into account the high number of children and youth population and prevalence of violence against them. However, the campaign will be widespread in the remaining districts over the next 6 months. As part of the campaign, the district's Women and Child Committee, along with the stakeholders, will sensitize people on sexual, online and peer violence. They will be familiarized on how to protect their children, ask for help from the service providers and successfully reintegrate their children into the society. The Foreign Minister, who is also the chairperson of the NCWC, said this campaign to end violence against children is a timely intervention.
6 out of 10 children experience physical violence, 12% experience sexual violence, and 50% of our children experience emotional violence. And we are talking about these happening in Bhutan, where Buddhist compassion abounds and where gross national happiness is our development philosophy.
The NCWC said over the past 4.5 years, the country saw close to 1,000 cases of violence against children or young people. However, they anticipate there could be many unreported cases.
68% of the 970 survivors were female. While these figures are indeed alarming, we must also acknowledge that these are only the reported cases. Children who have been severely abused or neglected experience learning difficulties and perform poorly at school. They may have low self-esteem and suffer from depression, which can lead at worst to risky behaviours and self-harm.
According to the NCWC's study, parents dependent on drugs and alcohol are the primary causes of violence against children.
There are a lot of interventions that needs to be carried out, especially from the social and behavioral change. And that is why we need to have a collaborative effort to end the violence against children, and then ensure that our intervention is actually conveyed to as a package for them, for all the stakeholders, and then go as a one.
To complement such campaigns, it is of foremost importance for every individual to raise voice and create a safe and harmonious environment for the children to live. Bimasaldun Singh, PBS News.
Elsewhere in the world, inaccessibility to contraception is one of the leading causes of unintended pregnancies. But in Bhutan, lack of sexual and reproductive health education and women shying away from availing themselves of contraceptives are the causes. So to prevent unintended pregnancies, the United Nations Population Fund called for decision makers and health systems to prioritize improving the accessibilities, quality of contraceptives and expanding sexual and health care information.
Unintended pregnancy refers to unplanned pregnancies that occur in a woman who is not planning to have children or when it occurs earlier than desired. According to the State of World Population Report 2022 launched today, nearly half of all pregnancies across the world are unintended. And it is caused by a lack of sexual and reproductive health care and information, contraceptive options, and harmful norms and stigma.
In Bhutan, if you look at it, we have availability of contraceptives in all health facilities. So access is not an issue, but yet people don't come forward. And then what are we doing about it? Are we having those conversations in the family? Are we having these conversations in the institutions, in schools, in universities?
Team, the surveyors, they had contacted around 500 women. They did a survey of 500 on the unintended pregnancy, and they found 1 in 5 was all like unintended. They assumed that that partner would be with them, but in between the partner then did not support them. And then some of them, like, their contraceptions failed.
The State of World Population Report 2022 states that globally more than 1 million unintended pregnancies occur, of which over 60% will end in abortion.
We'll have to address unintended pregnancies. In Bhutan, unfortunately, we don't have data to show what the extent of the problem is. All we know is all anecdotal stuff of, say, cases about unintended pregnancies, but we need to address it.
With the theme of seeing the unseen, the case for action in the neglected arises of unintended pregnancy. The report urges all individuals to empower women and girls to take affirmative decisions about sex, contraception and motherhood. Kalzong Choten, BBS News.
A young woman promised with a dream to earn and work in the US found herself poorer by 500,000 Newton. She was allegedly duped by a man from Lindsay. According to the Para police, the suspect, who is at large, has a history of criminal activity including rape, stabbing, kidnapping and other offences. He was out of prison lately after serving time for prior crimes.
The 23-year-old woman who lives in Paro first met with the suspect sometime in May this year through a social media app Messenger. According to her, the 38-year-old man claimed to be a doctor working in Brooklyn, New York, and was here in the country for some personal reasons. She said the suspect promised to take her with him to the US and reportedly persuaded her by using a number of strategies, including enlisting her family members in the decision-making process. She said she started falling into this alleged scam after several people came forward supporting his claims. A friend of the suspect, pretending to be working in the foreign ministry, is among those who reportedly persuaded her to apply for a visa.
Passport जोदा हेमा क्लासमेट में बर passport की सर दांग खोदी दिले ये चिखले रे अनि लिंस लेरा लास दिले अनि की ngachini documents दिसु asi दिले खोय अप्लाई बे में बोला खोगी documents दिसु खोगी मेल ना सेंड बे चीजी खोगी अचिंगाई family दिसु तंचिगालो ला खोगी family दिसु दिले ngagi pincha दिसु दिले ngagi chimsan दिसु का रे दोंखा तेन खो ओपन बे वही बोला सर अन बिंदी चीजी trust बे मीटिंग हमारा अनि बेंगिला.
After she was convinced that the man is for real, he started demanding money for registration fees, visa fees, and even for personal reasons. She said she landed up asking her friends and family for assistance in paying the amount because she did not have enough in her own account. After meeting all his monetary demands, she said she lost track of him. According to sources, she is not the only victim of this suspected scam. They said there are cases registered against him with the Thimphu police on the similar deceptive practices. Paro police said the easy accessibility of SIM cards is making it harder for them to track the suspect as he keeps on moving from place to place. He was last traced in Chirang recently through mobile tower receiver technology. Police in Chirang were also alerted. However, the police said that it is challenging to efficiently trace his whereabouts through technology as many due procedures have to be followed. Meanwhile, as the search continues for the suspect, the duped woman can only hope that she will be able to recover her money. Apart from losing all her little savings, she has debts to pay. Pema Saldun Singh, BBS News.
The free Wi-Fi service over the weekend for the students in Damphu town in Chirang is benefiting the school-going children. Chirang District Administration launched the free Wi-Fi facility coinciding with the National Day last year as an initiative to keep the students meaningfully engaged during the weekends.
The free Wi-Fi facility is made available at Damphu Municipal Office. Tanjin Penjor, a class 11 student of Damphu Central School, visits the center to use the free Wi-Fi service occasionally during the weekends. Today, he is here to download and read notes on the world history. He said the free Wi-Fi has helped him gain knowledge that are beyond classroom learning.
The free Wi-Fi is benefiting me immensely. We are able to download online notes and get necessary information while writing homework and assignments. We even don't have to rely much on our parents to recharge data like in the past.
Like Tanjin, many other school-going children from the nearby schools are able to spend their weekends fruitfully learning and exploring the internet.
49 data net pack gets exhausted instantly and it cannot last even for 2 days. The free Wi-Fi provides us a platform to revise and recollect what we have learned in the classroom. For instance, we study a novel called The Giver in class 9 and we understand better when we watch the novel's explanations in YouTube.
It is quite expensive using data to download online academic resources. With the Wi-Fi, we can download all necessary online information and notes within a short period of time. I don't engage in online games or watch unwanted videos.
Ngara naung shimle ngara north su tampasu ngara apa ilu tindos shunil.
Now the drill is like this. For 16-year-old Sange, apart from online studies, the free Wi-Fi service also helps him take online football coaching class through the online videos. He aspires to take part in the national football team selection this winter.
I've attended the selection program for the national football team for quite a few times in the past in Galifu, but I couldn't qualify for it. But this time, I'm hopeful of qualifying since I gained better tactics and skill through online coaching.
However, some students do not make the best use of the facility. Some of them mostly engage in online games, deviating their focus from studies and other healthy habits. The internet is connected from the Serang District Administration and is open to students even on public holidays. For Pematawang in Serang, Kilidem, BBS News.
The coronavirus crisis has posed many challenges which Bhutan never faced before. However, it has taught the country many lessons, including the importance of being self-reliant. In Samdrup, a small shoe repairing business is making ends meet. Such was not an established business idea, especially for a Bhutanese prior to the pandemic.
This 42-year-old Kyelzang Jimmy opened a cobbler shop in Dewatang almost 8 months ago. He moved his business to the core town area of Samdrup 2 months ago. The idea to open the first ever cobbler shop in the town crossed his mind after the closure of border gates in March 2020. He said the pandemic has made him realize that it is very critical to be self-reliant for basic needs. Today, Kyelzang Jimmy's shoe repairing shop is earning him a decent income.
After the border gates were closed, people couldn't visit the nearby Indian bordering towns to repair their shoes. So I grabbed the opportunity. I receive good number of customers every day, so in a day I earn 2,000 to 3,000 milchum.
Regardless of running a lone shoe repairing business in the town, he seeks mutual benefits, which are customer service satisfaction and good income generation. Such similar impact can be seen in the tailoring business there. The business, which was once dominated by Indian tailors, are now replaced by Bhutanese tailors. There are 20 Bhutanese workers in all 5 tailoring shops in the town.
All the Indians who operated tailoring here went back and we got good opportunity. We learned many skills and gained knowledge. In a month, we earn 25,000 to 30,000 Newton depending on the season.
I got good economic opportunities after the gates were closed. Before, Indians across the border came here to work and earned income. Today, we are able to keep our currency within the country.
However, they are concerned about the sustainability of their income as border gates reopen for tourists this September. But for now, that has not dampened their spirit, for they are hoping to retain their customers by offering them affordable and quality services. For Kilawanchu in Samdrup, this is Pamal Harden, BBS News.
Bhutan will participate in the 44th Chess Olympiad, which will be held in Chennai in India towards the end of this month. The game will be organized by FIDE, the International Chess Federation. The country's top 10 participants, the Bhutan Chess Federation selected in May, are preparing for the competition.
25 participants took part in an open invitation, out of which 5 girls and 5 boys were selected to represent the country. According to the Bhutan Chess Federation, the Chess Olympiad is preparation for the 2023 Youth Olympiad. Currently, the participants are taking online coaching for 2 months.
All are part-time players. We have the issues with trainings, because most of the trainings imparted are online trainings. so where we have to do online trainings, which is not really effective as much as over the board, because most of the players some are from Trongsa, some are from Gelifu, Finsoling, so that's the only challenge that we are facing.
He added the participants will compete in the open section and women's section.
After Mr. Uginongchi sir revived Bhutan Chess Club, we started participating regularly, and that's how we landed up in national team. And the very fact that I like chess is because it shows women empowerment. From my point of view, chess is the only game where the queen is more powerful compared to any other pieces.
Bhutan Chess Federation was revived this year after remaining inactive for the last 8 years. It was established in 2004.
My expectations for the tournament is for it to go well, and us maybe if we could win a few matches, that would be great. But mostly it's for the experience that we'll get from the chess.
Chess would be to think ahead of time, focus, and also a lot of decision making. And also one important thing would be for risk taking.
187 countries will participate in the upcoming tournament. Bhutan is currently ranked 182nd in the International Chess Federation. For Kalmawandi, Khalzang Chodin, BBS News.
That's all for this week. Thank you for joining us.